trial was set up, Scarlett, to test one drug against the other, and it failed. Right, so that's when they start these trials, they have a hypothesis. We think our drug is as good as this one, and they set the hypothesis up. They do the right number of patients to prove that CagriSema is as good as tirzepatide. It didn't prove that. What it does, I mean, I don't really care about these 23%, 25%. A lot of people are happy with the weight loss they get, and they maintain the weight loss. That's what they care about. This rapid weight loss, a very large weight loss, may matter for much more obese patients potentially. But the reality is, this is handed a gift to Eli Lilly now. Once this data is published, they can go out there and say, well, look, we've beaten Wegovy. We've beaten the next generation drug they've got, at least on weight loss on the surface. What happens to muscle loss and all that sort of stuff will come out. Oh, peripheral fat versus visceral fat, etc. We've beaten them. This is the drug to take. And they should be able to sell as much as they can make. So, which is kind of what's been going on already.
All right. Thank you for explaining that. It's the relative effectiveness, and in this case, giving Eli Lilly an easy win. Why is it that Novo Nordisk has lost so much ground and its edge to Eli Lilly? Does it come down to the science of it, or is there something culturally at the company that's led to this underperformance?
Yeah, I can't speak to the culture, to be honest with you. I mean, this has been a phenomenal story for years, right? They were the pioneers in obesity. They in diabetes with this class of drugs. They brought for obesity. They have a lot to applaud for them for. The point is, all these companies take calculated risks. Back in 2015-16, Lilly took a calculated risk to try this new molecule, a GLP-1, attached to it a GIP. Let's forget what they are, but they're two different ways of modulating the system. And nobody thought that GIP would do what it did. So they were lucky, they threw the dice and they got the right answer, or they just had a very clever biology person who said, I disagree with the rest of the world, GIP will do this. So they ended up with a supercharged product. And then, of course, Novo never went down that road. Even since 2018, when we all saw the first data, we went, wow, there's a whole bunch of other companies who did this. We have a list that we keep. Not Novo. They put their dice, or they put their money on this combination, amylin. A lot of people have too. But so it hasn't worked out. It's just the way that drug development goes. In 6 years' time, you might find that some mechanism they've got starts to beat what Lilly has. But we don't see that at the minute, and we haven't got any sight on those things.
Well, Karen from the Jersey Shore writes in and says she is a huge fan of Wegovy. It worked just great. There you go. Sam, here we go. Merck splitting its main pharmaceutical unit in two as it prepares for the approaching patent expiry of its best-selling drug. What's going on here?
Yeah, so there's one other company that does this, and it's been one of the, you plot the share chart and you go, wow, that's pretty cool. And that's AstraZeneca. AstraZeneca has for a long time had a division, a person responsible for oncology business and responsible for oncology drug development. That's always been there. I think they recognized they had assets and that oncology drug development is quite different to every other area. Here's Merck now doing the same thing. Is it suggesting that they, because of the number of drugs that they've got coming, some in oncology, some elsewhere, it's better to have two units that look after these two things, especially in the R&D side? I think they're doing the right thing. I don't think it tells us much about separating the reporting lines and all that sort of stuff, or the P&L look of things. I think it's much more to do with making sure that they're going to get the best chance in the specialty pharma, as they call, and oncology. And I think that's the right call to make by them.
Does it lead to a formal spinoff where you might have two publicly traded companies, or is this more like an internal division within the company?
Yeah, I doubt this is about a spin-off. I mean, who knows? I'm not in the board of Merck and listening to the, or even a fly on the wall. And the thing is, I don't think you need to go that far. I think this just reorganizing the business in a way that works best for the pipeline. And I think that's the right thing to do, especially if my colleague Aude Gersbacher and Vinay Hamilton are right, that actually the Keytruda that people think is going to expire in terms of their patents in 2029 has another extra 3 years of cash flow or 4 years of cash flow to 2033. Remember, it's the biggest drug in the world. If they're right in their patent analysis, this really puts that oncology business in supercharged mode.